Okay, welcome back to another vid. So absolutely nothing on my channel for 8 or 9 months and then 2 in the space of a week. Unbelievable. So yeah, I thought I'd do a pickups vid. So this should be a lot shorter than my last vid, which breached an hour. I mean, I know they usually go on a long time anyway. Historically, that's nothing new with me. I do like the long vids. But that's why I put the timestamps, to help people out, hopefully. Thanks to everyone, by the way, if you've watched it and left a comment especially. Well, not necessarily especially. Thanks just to everyone who's watched it. I appreciate it. It's nice to be back. It's nice to feel welcome back. And if you haven't watched it and maybe you want to give it a go, please feel free, by all means. Obviously, that's why it's there. So, yeah, over the course of the last 9 or 10 months, I've made a lot of purchases, as you can imagine. So I'm not going to show everything that I've bought during that time. 1, I can't remember. It's been too much. And 2, I just thought I'd pad it out a little bit more. So I've taken a selection. And then what I'm going to do in the future, I'll mix some of those old purchases with the new stuff, and that can be on future pickup vids. So we'll do that. So yeah, let's start off with a few, in fact 3, for the Super Famicom. Really got into the Super Famicom of late. And I mean, I've always been into the SNES, but specifically buying Super Famicom games. I just find the games are cheaper, for the most part, not all of them by any stretch, but for the most part they're cheaper. And I'm just enjoying it, ultimately. I think one of the main reasons for me, because I've always said how nostalgic I am, and that's not a lie, I'm ridiculously, overly nostalgic. And it's always been PAL or nothing for me, on many systems, especially with retro stuff, of course. Modern stuff, American all the way. But, yeah, the thing is, the cost of importing and shipping, postage, is ludicrous. If I want to, let's say there's 4 games I wanted to buy on eBay UK, okay, and they're coming from 4 different sellers, I'm probably paying around about, I'm slightly rounding it off, but I'm probably paying a total of about £100 postage. It's just too much, and it got to the point really, probably 2 or 3, 4 years ago maybe, where I thought, I can't keep doing this, obviously. That money can be going on other things, gaming, and obviously non-related gaming stuff. It could go towards a car, it could go towards a house. Proper important stuff, you know. I was just basically throwing money away. Now, there's still some systems where I really do like buying PAL 4, and I'm working on that, you know. I'm trying not to buy as many, and maybe in the future I'll buy American games. PlayStation 1, for example, it's hard not to buy PAL because of the nostalgia, but maybe in the future I'll try and introduce 1 or 2 American games and we can maybe get over that psychological hurdle. But for the Super Famicom, I'm really enjoying it. And in the box art as well, and the spines, they're multicoloured, which remind me, very reminiscent of PAL stuff. So it's kind of nostalgic-esque in a way. So anyway, the first game, which I talked a little bit about on my vlog. By the way, apologies if the lighting is really bad. It's actually really bright outside, but within the last sort of few minutes on this old rickety MacBook, maybe it's just the camera, maybe it's on its way out, I don't know. So it's gone a little bit dark, so I hope it's all right. It's actually really sunny, like I say, outside, but it is what it is. So yeah, Area 88, known as UN Squadron in America and in PAL regions. A shooter, a horizontal shooter, one I've wanted for 30 years. I remember when it came out, I remember seeing this, specifically kind of artwork. I think it was on Mean Machines, on the front cover of Mean Machines, probably late 1990. Which I guess is when it came out on the Super Famicom. Super Famicom late 1990, in America I think it came out late 91, and then PAL, in the UK at least, we got it in, was it April 92? I got my SNES for Christmas in 92, so, but yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, in this day and age that would never happen, but back then, in PAL regions, generally we waited a year or 2 or more for games to come out. Criminal, really is. We just got on with it because that's the way it was, but looking back now, why did we put up with such nonsense? So, but yeah, there's the spine, and the artwork is so cool. Another good thing about importing is not just, buying Super Famicom. Predominantly I'm buying them from America, but even importing them from Japan, the postage is really cheap. I guess because Japan's not actually that far away from California, so there's that. But yeah, I'm really liking the Super Famicom games. This game is really good as well. But really, the worst part of it, and I touched upon this in my vlog, is that the slowdown in the game is quite something else. It does appear fairly regularly throughout the game. When it gets a little bit hectic on screen, you definitely see it and feel it. It does slightly, or can work to your advantage, where you can maybe manoeuvre yourself around the fighter jets and the bullets, but it's kind of a bit cheap to do that. But it's still a great game. For me, it doesn't ruin the enjoyment. It's a must-have Super Nintendo game. And yeah, Japanese version cost me around about $35. In PAL regions and in America, you're looking about $100. So yeah, it's a no-brainer really. And for the Super Famicom as well, what I'm not doing is buying games which are difficult to understand. Absolutely, I'm not going to do that under no circumstances. So you're not going to see any RPGs from me or any games which are really heavily reliant on knowing Japanese. It's just, I can't be bothered. It's a waste of time for me personally. So all you're basically going to see are scrolling beat-em-ups, 2D beat-em-ups, one-on-one fighters, horizontal, vertical shooters, platformers, anything which isn't reliant on the Japanese language, because I have no interest, and never have, and never will, in learning Japanese. But I do like the games, the box art and all that kind of stuff. Next up is Final Fight, another brilliantly nostalgic game for me. I remember it from the arcades, back at the very tail end of the 80s, right at the start of the 90s. And from the Atari ST and the Amiga is really where I played it more than anywhere else. So yeah, this is an interesting one, just a scrolling beat-em-up, a classic game really, similar to the likes of Street of Rage, that's the other one which springs to mind, or Rival Turf, something like that. Now this version of the game, the original Super Nintendo or Super Famicom version, it should have really had 3 characters, as the arcade did, and I think the ST and the Amiga ports did too. So you've got Hagar, Cody, and the person missing is Guy. Now what they did, basically the reason why they left Guy out of the game is for memory constraints. I guess they just couldn't fit him in. They'd used all the memory on graphics and sound and all that kind of stuff. They did release a separate game called Final Fight Guy, which replaced Cody. It had Hagar still in as well. But to my knowledge, there wasn't an original Final Fight game which had all 3 characters in. I'm not sure about Final Fight 2, even to this day I've yet to play that. Maybe that introduced other characters or had more, I don't know. But yeah, side-scrolling beat-em-up, a classic from that bygone era, halcyon days of 16-bit fighting, 2D graphics and all that kind of stuff. Really playable, fun, relatively easy. You know, I actually got maybe, I'm guessing, halfway through the game, and I still had like a couple of continues left, and it wasn't that much of a challenge. Do you know what though? Another game which I did experience a bit of slowdown on. So a bit of a pattern here with maybe Japanese games, I don't know. But it wasn't a problem, I just noticed it from time to time, and nowhere near as much as Area 88. Alright, third up, on the Super Famicom, and yeah, really charming game. Again, I like the box art with the green, it's very vibrant, and one which holds such nostalgia, like the other two, quite frankly, and it's Super Donkey Kong, or not, not Donkey Kong Country in Japanese, unless that's what that means, in yellow there at the top. See, if I knew Japanese, I guess I could tell you, couldn't I? But yeah, either way, Super Donkey Kong, the first of the trilogy, and what a brilliant game. The music in this is incredible. So atmospheric, so immersive, so nostalgic. I just love playing it. And I can just literally just put the game on and just listen to the music for, well, just a few minutes, not all night or anything. That'll get a bit repetitive. But yeah, it takes me back every single time to the glory days of 16-bit 2D gaming. And it still looks really impressive now. The weather effects as well. I think it's like 2 or 3 levels in, where like you can hear like the drum beats in the background and the rain crashing down and the thunder. It just looks and sounds really, really good. So yeah, a classic game, and one which really you've got to have. Everybody who has a Super Nintendo must have. Not just that game, but I guess probably the trilogy. Alright, let's deal with, let's get a peripheral out of the way, just very quickly. So I picked up for the Xbox Series X, I don't have the console, not yet, never say never, but I picked up this Shock Blue controller. It looks really nice actually. And the main reason I got it is so I could use it on the PC. Now, I like playing a lot of games which involve the mouse and the keyboard, but sometimes certain games you're better off with a controller. So I thought, you know, with the ease of just getting a Microsoft, because PC is obviously Microsoft, I just thought it would just be easier just to get a Microsoft or Xbox One controller, and yeah, it just seamlessly connects, no problems whatsoever, almost instantly recognises it to every game that you play, and yeah, what more can I say? It's just a standard Xbox Series X controller, but looks really, really nice. Some nice grips as well. So it's basically not too much different to the Xbox One. A few little changes here and there, maybe on the D-pad as well. But yeah, just a controller. They're bloody expensive, these things, though. I think that must have been at least $60. Pretty much the price of a game. But essential nonetheless. And I noticed they released another one quite recently. Oh god, here we go. Bloody go for a collection of Xbox controllers. I think it's called something like Voltage Green. I can't quite remember. It's like Illuminous. And I'll put a picture of it. You might think it looks terrible, but I like the look of it. So I think I'm going to get that. So maybe in the future I'll show it off. Let's show the other peripheral while we're here. It's for the Nintendo Switch. Loving the Switch. It's a brilliant system. For me, it's a perfect combination of retro stuff with kind of old remakes, but not just that, but old but new kind of throwbacks. 16-bit kind of looking indie games, 8-bit as well. And when you throw in the exclusives that Nintendo have with the bright, colourful games and their IPs and all that kind of stuff, it's just a really good, fun platform to play in the modern era, I find. Right now, I'm enjoying it much more than things like PlayStation 4s and Xbox and all that kind of stuff. But I go through cycles with these things, so maybe in the future I'll get back, into bed, as it were, with PlayStations. Maybe if I get a PS5, maybe if I get a Series X, an Xbox. We'll see, but I'm really loving the Switch. So this one is, I think it's the Afterglow, isn't it? Yeah, the Afterglow wireless controller. So there's the box, like you needed to see that. And this is the controller, so with its translucent kind of aesthetic to it. Yeah, it's just, another controller, very similar in a way. It feels slightly different, I guess, holding it now, to like the Xbox one. Maybe a little bit more stretched out. I don't know, I've only used it for maybe half an hour, and it's fine, as you'd expect. But I like how it lights up as well. A bit of a sucker for all that. So, yeah, it's not an official... Well, it kind of is. It's been licensed by Nintendo, but it was made through... I think, who does it say? Maybe Afterglow are the people who make it. I don't know. But yeah, it's licensed officially, at least, through Nintendo. So, pleased to have that, because playing on the Joy-Cons is... it's a bit of a nuisance after a while. So, it's good to have that if I want to use it. Now, speaking of the Switch, I've got 2 games for it to show. One very briefly, because I did touch upon it again in my vlog, and it's Super Mario 3D World. Yeah, brilliant game, bright, colourful, again, characteristics and traits of all Nintendo games, pretty much. And it comes with Bowser's Fury. Not yet started that. Almost finished Super Mario 3D World. I must literally have about 10 or 20 minutes to go until I finished it, so looking forward to that. There's the artwork and the cart. Did you need to see that? So, yeah, again, another must-own game. I don't like these spines. I know it's really fussy. They just look rubbish to me. I don't know. I'd prefer it if they were maybe just a mixture of colours, but it's not that important, obviously. But nonetheless, it's always frustrated me. And then last up on the Switch, we have Turrican, or Turrican Flashback, as it's called. And this is basically a collection. The cart is in the Switch. It's a collection of 4 Turrican games. So you've got Turrican, Turrican 2, and I'm pretty certain it must be the Amiga ports. You've got Super Turrican, which is the SNES game, pretty expensive, and Mega Turrican. That's, I'm guessing, I've not looked for a while, but I'm guessing that's pretty pricey these days as well. So 4 games altogether. So if you're a Turrican fan, if you're a fan of the 16-bit era, the Amiga, the ST, the SNES, the Mega Drive, all that kind of stuff, and you remember this game, then this is another essential game. What it's got this feature now. I've heard a few people complain about this. I quite like it, but I know it's not for everyone. And it's a rewind feature. So if you're not doing particularly well in a game, you can just press the rewind feature and literally go back 0.1 of a second if you want. So you could technically complete the game without really dying, technically speaking, because you can just keep reversing or rewinding the game. Now, I've used it a few times, and it can be handy, because these games are tough. This is like going back to the era where it was that School of Hard Knocks. Games are really hard, or lots of them were anyway. So to have that potential to use that feature if I want, I think that's a good thing. You don't have to use it. I know purists don't like it. I understand why, but it's there if you want to use it. So I think that's a good thing, really. Alright, next up, just one game. It's still sealed. I picked it up actually ages ago. For the PlayStation 3, and it's Splinter Cell Blacklist. Yeah, I really like the Splinter Cell games. I like stealthy games, or games which at least give me the option. If I want to be stealthy, I can. If I want to go in guns blazing, I can do that as well. And this kind of gives me the choice, ultimately. But the emphasis is very much really on stealth in these kind of games. And that's fine with me, because like I say, I do enjoy doing that. There's a game on the PlayStation, in fact it goes back many generations, PC, Xbox, everything, called Thief, and I really like that game, just sneaking about without really killing anyone, or just being a thief basically, and a stealthy one at that. So yeah, I like that aspect in gaming. So I think I'm gonna enjoy this. How it holds up, I guess time will tell. It's not that old, 2013, so it should still look and play okay. So looking forward to that. Now, 2 on the PlayStation, PAL PS1 games, and both of them kind of nostalgic. Well, here's the weird thing, they're both nostalgic, yet I've never owned them before, but I have played the demos many, many years ago, like 20 odd years ago. So this one I picked up a while ago. This is about 50 quid. They're both about 50 quid, give or take, which is around about the going rate. They have gone for more in the past, and sometimes they've gone for a little bit less, but generally 50 quid is a good deal for what they are. And the first one is called Cooler World. It's essentially a puzzle game. So you control a beach ball, and you go in on these like courses, which are, you know, however many million miles high in the air, and yeah, avoiding obstacles, collecting power-ups, essentially tokens, time extensions, and you just got to figure your way to the exit. It's really tricky, or it can be really tricky, but it's really addictive. Definitely one of those games which you just want to give one more go to. You know, even though it's hard, you think, well, I can nail it on the next attempt, and you invariably don't because it's difficult. But yeah, really good music as well, if you're into that kind of sort of dancey, trancey stuff anyway. I am. Very much synonymous with the PlayStation era, of course. And yeah, I remember playing, or borrowing maybe, the demo disc back in the day. Or maybe it was on a demo disc that came with a game. You know, sometimes that kind of happens. In fact, did it come with this one? No, it didn't. This is just a single disc. So yeah, you know, sometimes though a game would come with like an extra CD with demos on, and maybe that's why I played it. But yeah, I've been wanting this game for absolutely ages. It's a little bit like Area 88, UN Squadron, in the sense that I'd wanted it for so many years, but for whatever reason you put it off, or you forget about it, and then the decades go by and you're like, I want to get that game, what am I waiting for? And you just think, bugger it, let's just get it. So yeah, 50 quid, probably like 70, 75 including postage, which made it creep over the $100 barrier, but it is what it is. I've got it now, don't have to worry about it. So really pleased to have it, brilliant game. Paying that kind of money for a puzzle game isn't for everyone, but if you can stumble upon it, especially cheaply, then do get it. The last thing I'll say about the game is, as silly as it sounds, if it comes with these 2 stickers on the front, which are the 2 original ones about the DualShock controller, you're going to pay more for this than if it was in like a standard case. I know it's silly, but that's maybe the collector side of me, and I've never really considered myself a collector. Not really, but maybe there's a part of me which is. Maybe there's a part of us which always is and always will be, I guess. But really pleased to get that. It's a really good game. Next up on the PS1 is... I'm surprised this was as cheap as it is, to be honest. I thought it would go for a little bit more. But it's Silent Hill. Like I say, picked up for just under 50 quid, 40 quid maybe. Really pleased to get it, and in the future I expect it to go up to a lot higher value than that. So... yet another game I've been wanting since it came out. Played the demo briefly back in probably 99 maybe? When did this come out? Yeah, it came out in 99, so that's probably when I played the demo. And the one thing I'll say about it is I've played it for maybe about an hour. I like the intro actually. It lulls you into this false sense of security where you think it's not really a spoiler because it literally happens right at the start of the game. You think you're playing the game, well you kind of are. And then something happens and you can't do anything about it. And you're like, well, is the controller not working? What's going on? And you kind of figure out it's a dream in the game. And that's clever how they did that. And like I say, it happens right at the start, so I hope that's not a spoiler for anyone. But yeah, what I've found by going to the game, to its credit, is it remains, for me, incredibly atmospheric. Incredibly atmospheric. It really is. And I do enjoy that. But I've got to say, the controls have aged big time. Now, like anything else, you put a bit of time into it, you will get used to it, but it was a bit of a shock going back to it, just thinking, bloody hell, just moving around, how slow it can be and cumbersome. And then especially when you're aiming at these sort of like dinosaur, pterodactyl creatures, monsters, it's hard to do it because they're off screen and they're kind of coming in, and then by the time they come in on screen, you've got to readjust, but with the slow controls it can be hard. So it's difficult to manoeuvre. But it's still a good game. And really, the thing is, I know sometimes you can't help it, but I try not to play a game, an older game as well, especially, and judge it and compare it to modern games. This was back in the 90s, albeit at the tail end of the 90s, but nonetheless it was the 90s. Different era, different time, different expectations. trying out new technology, the 3D polygons. This looked cool back then. It doesn't look great now, but for what it was very impressive. So when you kind of look at it with a throwback PS1 late 90s mindset, I think you can appreciate games a lot more. We shouldn't really compare, but sometimes we automatically do and think, oh, it looks nothing like a PlayStation 5. Well, of course it doesn't. It's 90s stuff. So if you can kind of differentiate between the eras and technology, I think you can appreciate the older stuff for what it was and what it still is. So that's that. Really pleased to get it. Now I want to kind of wrap this up in the next few minutes very quickly. So I picked up a new system, a new old system. Now I originally had this 2012, I think it came out, but I've picked it up again and I've absolutely been loving it. And it's a PlayStation Vita. So yeah, picked it up not too long ago. Been really enjoying it. This is a Japanese version. Comes in its little slipcase. It's the Glacier White, or Glacier as some people may call it, or Glacier as it's called in America. Glacier, if you know them. So yeah, it's really good. The touchscreen is brilliant, and I've been really enjoying going back to it. Now, the thing is, the Vita has quite an interesting back catalogue, but there's a lot of niche games. They're not all really for me. There's loads of RPGs, which I always threaten to get into, but I never quite do, maybe one day. But really, when it comes to other games, there's not too many that strike me as being essential. But that said, I'm going to give a few of them a go, and I might discover some new genres and some new games that I might enjoy. The first one is, I'm not really rediscovering this franchise, but I'm discovering this game for the first time. And this is really good. Killzone Mercenary. So this looks, the cart is in the actual Vita. Honestly, I'm not just buying empty cases. So this is, yeah, a brilliant game. It looks basically like a PS3 game in the palm of your hand. The quality is really, really good. So, and that's the other thing I'll say about the Vita as well, is that you can remote play PS4 games and some PS3 as well. So it's like having a portable PS4 or a PS3. Really, really clever. Not enough people know that, I think. So yeah, you might want to check one out. Not a lot of people in the community that I kind of mix with anyway, like you guys. I don't think anyone's really buying Vita. So maybe all of you now are going to be going on eBay and getting PlayStation Vita stuff. But you should do, because the prices are starting to go up. So if you do, now's the time to do it. Otherwise you'll be paying triple the amount, or double the amount certainly. I mean, these games aren't cheap. This was $40, and you're kind of lucky to get it for that these days, including postage. So yeah, really liking it. It controls okay. The thing is with the Vita sticks is they're very short and tiny, so you don't really get a proper grip, like when you're holding a PlayStation or an Xbox controller. But it does the job, but graphically brilliant. I like the additions of using the swipe screen, the touch screen to do certain actions, and there's puzzles on there as well. Some of them can be a bit infuriating, but it's a nice addition. So yeah, really good game. And then last but not least, I've only played it briefly, and the cart is in this one. Many games didn't have instructions, so it looks really, really bland when you open the case. But this is Mod Nation Racers, or Racing. Is it Racers? No, it is. Right, first time. Mod Nation Racers Road Trip on the Vita. So basically just think Mario Kart. That's essentially what it is. A really cutesy kind of kart game. So yeah, I remember playing it back in the day. I did enjoy it. It is fun. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's an essential purchase. But for $20, $25, why not? It's fun, and it's just enjoyable playing it. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll try and have a new vid maybe later on this month, or possibly next month. It might be a music vid, or us threaten them, or it might be another vlog. But until then, thank you for watching. See you later.